Hello again, I'm Eric, and welcome to Amulet. For those who are new, Amulet is a childhood graphic novel series that I and many other overstimulated Zoomer children enjoyed when going through adolescence. What's so special about it? Well, it's good. Today, we're going through book 6 and 7, so go watch the last 3 videos, and if you have already, rewatch them. Okay then, let's read. We get a quick intro with our favorite spiky-haired bad boy, Max. He and some gremlin guy named Logi are walking to the Elf King's quarters. Logi questions Max's allegiance to the king, but once Max enters the king's quarters, we almost get a Elf King butt reveal, but instead, the king talks about how Max is the new prince of the elves and is much better than his son Trellis. Anyway, back to the main characters. We cut to see Naven flying a plane with Allison, looking around at all the clouds. Also, Allie is the daughter of the guy in charge of the whole flying fleet, so of course, she pesters Naven about how they're late for a class lecture. Apparently, they're both in a Colossus flying program where they learn to operate giant Gundams. Cool. Naven begrudgingly turns the plane around, and they head back. At the base ship, Cogsley and Naven yap about the weird clouds he saw, as Allie pulls them along to get to class. They show up, and immediately the teacher scolds them and boots them out. Ro did not want to retake attendance. But it's all cool. They go back to the hangar bay and begin practicing how to operate the colossal Gundams by driving teeny loader bots. They're assigned to clean the ears of the Colossus. And what the why does it have earwax? It doesn't even make sense! Huh? What would even cause that? Oh my god. Actually, this reminds me of a time when I got back from my first semester of college. Used a Q-tip for the first time since leaving home, and clogged my ear so badly I couldn't hear out of it for a week. Anyways, the same teacher guy from the lecture shows up and gets all upset that they're using the loader bots without permission. Apparently, it's a violation or something. And also, this guy is just straight up racist and hates Naven because he and Emily showed up with Lugger and Trellis, who happen to be elves. So now Naven isn't allowed to fly any vehicles, and has a bracelet monitor thing that stops him from flying anything. On the command deck, we see Vigo and Emily, with Allie's dad, discussing whether they should enter the city of Lucian, which has been destroyed by the elves. Vigo suspects it's a trap, but Tristan, aka Allison's dad, says they need to go in so that they can activate a communication beacon, so they can bring their army together. Then Naven and Allison walk in, and they're told that 3 students in the pilot academy will be chosen to operate a Colossus to go into the city and activate the beacon. Cut back to the racist professor, and he's announcing the mission pilots, which are 2 expendable characters we don't care about named Robert Joseph and Trisha Spring, as well as Allison. Wait, what? What about Naven? He's the GOAT when it comes to this stuff. Naven, they're supposed to pick you. Don't worry, he can't stop me from getting out there. Once I find a way to get rid of this bracelet, I'll join you on the ground. Here, take this. What is it? It's an old 2-way radio. My dad and I use them to talk when the sat link goes down. Congratulations, Hunter. Oh yeah, by the way, Allie's last name is Hunter. Stay in line and you should be taking your father's place in no time. As for you, Hayes... Oh, also Naven's last name is Hayes. Being popular doesn't mean you deserve better treatment. You have to work like the others to earn your place out here. And I don't care what the prophecy says. You're still a slacker. Oh my god, I hate this guy! He sucks! Anywho, Cogsley shows up and tells Naven he did some tests on the sus clouds that Naven found out when he was flying. Turns out those clouds aren't real. They're an illusion, and something is hiding behind them. Then Lugger and Trellis show up and ask Naven why he isn't going on the mission, since he's clearly the most qualified. But then, the thing that was hiding behind the clouds reveals itself to be the Elf Armada. They fire at the Colossus mechs, destroying one of them, but Allie, Robert, and Trisha are already in their Colossus and ejected out of the loading dock to avoid getting hit by the elf's laser cannon. While that's happening, Naven finds the professor and convinces him to take off this pilot-blocking bracelet so he can go and rescue them. So he jumps into a nearby loader bot and flies out of the airship after Allie and the expendable characters. He latches onto the Colossus' head, and they eject the head off the body, landing near the city of Lucian. To be honest, my boy Naven really did not need to jump out of there at all, but now he's a part of the mission, I guess. Oh well. You'd think Naven would have an advantage since he has the loader bot with him, but it turns out it's already out of fuel, and he literally... The author just wanted Naven to be a part of the story, okay? Emily has had way too much time for herself in the story. Let's have a little bit of boy time, okay? Anyway, so the 4 of them start walking into the city to activate the communication beacon. Meanwhile on the ship, Vigo and Emily get ready as a small ship from the elf army boards them. It's Logie, the little gremlin guy from earlier. He tells Emily, Vigo, and Trellis that Max has requested to meet with them in private. If they don't come with him, the elves will blow them up. So they go with Logie and board the elves' ship, believing this to be a trap. Then they enter a room where the amulets are weakened, and Max tells them the evil voice in their amulets won't be able to hear them. Trellis immediately punches Max in the face like a legend, and Max is just like, fair enough. Then Max explains that he wants to get rid of the voice and its curse on him. He shows them an old recording of Silas, aka Emily's great-grandfather, where Silas experiments on rats with a weird smoke creature that has the ability to control any life form it touches. It's the same creature Emily defeated in the first book, which apparently was controlling Trellis and making him evil. Well, that was never really explained, but whatever. Anyway, Max wants them to go with him into the void so Emily can do the same thing she did to the smoke creature and kill the voice. He believes that since Emily was able to stop a creature from controlling Trellis, maybe she can help by killing the voice and getting rid of its hold on him. They don't really have a choice, so they enter the void together. Just a reminder, the void is a dreamlike place that Stonekeepers can enter to explore each other's memories. So, yeah. Anyway, back to Naven and Allison. They're walking through the destroyed city of Lucian, looking for some shelter, when they get attacked by the same smoke creatures that Max was literally just talking about. How convenient. One of the creatures grabs Robert and runs off with him. When the others find him, his mind has been taken over by the creature. So they just leave him and run out of there before it can control them too. They end up getting cornered by a bunch of the creatures and are about to have their brains turned into evil soup when an elf girl shows up and saves them with some kind of fire potion thingy. She immediately tells them to follow her to safety, and also to slather themselves with some fish juice. Okay then. They follow her into the sewers, where she jumps off into a drop, and the rest of them follow her hesitantly. They end up getting teleported into a decontamination room. Then they reconnect with the elf girl, who introduces herself as Riva, the mayor of Lucian. We also meet General Pill. General Pill is just a grumpy robot guy. Then Riva takes them out into the city, which is underground, and looks pretty cool. In the city, Riva explains that the people of Lucian retreated into this underground refuge that was built by her father a long time ago, so that they could get away from the smoke creatures, which are also called the Shadows. But things kind of suck underground too. It's kind of like the city of Ember, and they're running out of resources and food. But who cares about that? We get to see some familiar faces again. It's Balin, and the rest of the Resistance. I bet you didn't forget about them from the second book, right? Right. Turns out they made their way here after they were separated. But Riva breaks up their reunion real quick, explaining that they need to come up with a plan to get everyone out of the city soon. With the shortage of resources and the evil shadow monsters, they have no choice but to find a new place to live. She asks Naven what they should do, since he's the foretold commander according to the prophecy. But he's like, bro, how am I supposed to know what to do? I'm like 13. Naven doesn't even really believe in any of that prophecy stuff. So Riva gives him a gift. It's a tree sprout. She also tells him that she doesn't believe in prophecies either, but she used to have a close family friend named Father Charles, who was an elder tree and told her stories of the past. But that all ended when the Elf King declared war. When that happened, Father Charles became very ill and told Riva a cryptic story of things to come in the future. His last words were, "The sky will begin to fall, and the sun will rise again. Get to know the sun well." Then he died. Wah, wah. Later, Riva found a small sprout growing near the dead tree guy. She dug it up and kept it, but after a while, it began to wither, since they were living underground. Then the Resistance showed up in the city, and Riva heard them talking about Naven as the prophesized commander for their army. The next day, she found that the plant had sprouted for the first time. She took this as a sign, and brought the plant back above ground to replant it by the dead tree. But when she got there, she found that Father Charles had been chopped down, probably to be turned into a very nice dining room table. So she started heading back home when she found the main character's crew and saved them from the shadows. Okay then, we're all caught up. What does this have anything to do with the story? I do not know. Thanks a lot, Riva. You just wasted a bunch of time telling us your boring backstory. Anyway, turns out the Shadow Gang just broke into the underground and are making their way to the city. So they come up with a plan. General Pill, Naven, and Allie will use some old vacuum mechas to hold back the monsters, while Riva gets everyone to safety. Oh, and the other girl, Trisha, she can go and activate the communication beacon, I guess. I hope nothing bad happens to my favorite expendable character. Anyhow, the Resistance helps everyone get out through the exit tunnels, and Allie, Naven, and Pill start sucking up the Shadow Boys with their mechs, which immediately break, so they run for it. As for Trisha, she activates the beacon, but she gets got by the shadows. Back to Emily and the gang. They've made their way into the void and are currently in one of Max's memories. In the memory, they see past Max getting bullied by kids in the academy for being friends with an elf because they're both racist pieces of crap. Max is about to kill one of the kids, but a young Vigo shows up and stops him. Now they're friends, I guess. Yippee! Then we snap back to reality when the real Max shows up, flying on Kronos' back with Trellis. Then they all head to Valcor, the kingdom of elves. Interesting. What comes next? I really want to know. Well, too bad! Instead, the book cuts back to Naven and Allison. So Riva and Balin are waiting for General Pill, Naven, and Allie to show up at the exit tunnel so they can close the door. But they're not showing up, so they close the doorway anyway, trapping anyone left in the city inside with the creature. But a couple of kids try to help Naven and Allison escape through an old pipe in the wall. However, they're too girthy and can't fit, so they tell the kids to leave without them. Naven and Allison try to find another way to escape, but get surrounded by the Shadow Boxers. Then General Pill shows up, still in his mech suit, and rescues them. They hop into the suit and make their way to the edge of town and jump into the harbor. General Pill tells them that he has another one of the teleportation devices that brought them into the city at his old restaurant on the water. They all make their way there, and the teleporter is a mushroom for some reason. And if they hop into it, it teleports them to General Pill's parents' house. When they're in the restaurant, the general tries to do a heroic self-sacrifice by holding the door to stop the shadows from getting in. But Naven's like, bro, what are you doing? You can still survive, just run. So he does, and they all teleport out of there. Back in the void, Emily, Trellis, Vigo, and Max have made their way to Valcor so they can confront the voice. Max claims that Emily is going to kill the voice, but it doesn't seem very phased. Instead, it just kills Kronos, the mountain giant, with a big rock.
Kronos! It will take much more than a giant bug to intimidate me, my friend. You'll pay for this! No, I won't. Did you expect to simply walk into my house and sweep me out? We're stronger than you. Not here, my friend. Not in my home. You've been a good helper, but I think it's time to move on.
Put him down.
He's a cancer to us all, Emily.
I said, put him down.
As you wish. You want to be rid of me, but it is my curse that keeps you alive. Do you have any idea who you're dealing with? The Elf King is not someone you should take lightly. And for that matter, neither am I. I gave you a chance to have your revenge. And with this chance, you killed countless soldiers and civilians. Has it brought you the solace you seek? Has it brought you peace?
Most of those young soldiers had no idea what their ancestors were guilty of doing.
And yet you punished them dearly. You showed them no mercy in your actions. Time can heal many wounds, Max. Unless you work to disallow it.
Why would I do that?
Because there are some memories you refuse to put away.
Max? Lyra? We never asked this of you. Please. Stop. Lyra, I wish you were here to see what I've done. I made them pay. I made them suffer for what they did to you and your family. Why? I did it for you. No, Max. You did it for you. Come on. It's time to go.
Wait! Lyra, wait!
I already waited, but it seems I shouldn't have. Goodbye, Max.
Lyra!
Don't leave. Max, walk away from this. Emily, I should have died a long time ago.
He's right, Emily. Let this one go.
I was able to save Trellis. I can help Max.
No, you can't. Unlike Trellis, Max is already dead.
Just do it now! I'm ready to go!
As you wish.
So, is this it?
In a moment, you'll return to your natural state. You're going to appear as you would, had I not intervened to prolong your life. If you have any last words, I suggest you say them now.
Max, wake up! Don't listen to the voice!
Emily, let this run its course. Max! Max, wake up! You told us to keep our heads clear. You have to do the same.
Algos.
What? What did you say?
Algos Island. For Trellis. Find Algos Island.
What's on the island?
Forgive them. Forgive your people, they didn't know.
What didn't they know?
That you are the king.
Well, that just happened. Kinda dark, not gonna lie. Caught me off guard, if I'm being honest. But yeah, the voice, which has been keeping Max alive, decides to stop keeping him alive, and he just disintegrates. His attempt to have Emily kill the voice fails, and they're all let out of the void by the voice, who still feels like keeping them alive since he wants to control them eventually, like he did with Max. They show back up on the elf ship, where everything is falling apart since Max's power was the reason it was staying afloat, which makes absolutely no freaking sense, but I'll let it pass for now. Trellis goes out to the other elves and shows them that Max is dead. He tells them that they must all stick together to survive. As the ship begins to fall, Trellis, Emily, and Vigo use their powers to create a force field around themselves and the elven soldiers to protect them. They fall from the ship as it explodes, and Riva and the Resistance see it happen as they are getting out from the underground. Riva and her people rush to where they landed to help, as most of them are injured. Also, what just happened was the prophecy Father Charles just told Riva. The sky will begin to fall, and the sun will rise again. Get to know the sun well. So now she has to get to know Trellis or something, I guess. I don't know, it's freaking whatever. Anyway, the crew's all back together, besides Naven and Allie. So they all get onto Enzo and Rico's blimp, aka the Lunar Moth, and make their way to the place Max told them to go before he died. Meanwhile, Naven and Allie and General Pill get some new small mechs from Pill's parents and start their journey to Valcor, since they believe they'll find Emily there. Why do they think they're going to find her there? I don't know. Maybe they'll walk in and find Emily whipping the Elf King's ass. Finally, we cut back to the house mecha with the other robots that we haven't seen in quite a while. They get a distress signal from Lucian and start heading there. And that's the 6th book. Pretty cool. And oh, look, seems like the author signed this copy. And this is just a library book. Well, cool. Alright, on to the next book. We cut back into the story with a young Emily hiking up a mountain with her dad. They traverse up the mountain and eventually stop for the night and set up a campfire. That's when Emily realizes that this isn't real. She never went on this camping trip with her dad. So she breaks the illusion by telling her dad that he's not real, making him disappear. She wakes up from her dream, which was actually the void, and walks out of her room to stare heroically at the ocean. You see, the team is on their way to Algos Island, the place that Skeletor Max told them to go. Trellis guesses that they will find his stolen memories there that were taken from him when he was young. If Trellis can rediscover his memories, then maybe he can remember how the Elf King got possessed and how they could defeat him. But so far they've had no luck in finding the island, since it's not on any maps, so they're relying on Emily's amulet to guide them. They end up stopping at a random supply station to fuel up. The station is abandoned and looks like it's been ransacked. They find a few people inside who are frightened of them, claiming that a stonekeeper did this to them, but it turns out they're not real. It's all just a memory of the people who used to live at the station. That's when Emily points out that they've already made it to Algos Island. The supply station is the island. It literally says it on the wall! Back outside, there's a storm brewing, and Enzo informs the crew that they should leave before they get stuck here, and the ship gets damaged by the storm. Elsewhere, Cogsley is helping around the ship, preparing for them to leave when he gets yoinked by a random robot claw thing. That claw looks familiar. Enzo and Rico notice that Cogsley's gone missing, so they look around for him and find him tied up. Enzo tries to untie him, but then gets attacked by Gablin, the bounty hunter guy from the 3rd book! But Cogsley's little dragon pet, Dango, headbutts him before he can do any real damage, and knocks him out. Now they have Gablin tied up, and he reveals that he stole some of Enzo's memories when he attacked him with that claw gun thing. They open up his weapon and find that Enzo's memories are now stored in a square tesseract thingy. The crew takes Gablin out on the station deck to see Trellis, Emily, and Vigo, where they question him. They discover that Gablin keeps the memories that he's stolen here on Algos Island, so they ask him to show them where they are. He agrees, so they head downstairs and we see a weird Ocean Gate submarine thingy. Turns out, there's a gigantic underwater ship called the Cortex beneath Algos Island, where Gablin's been keeping all of the stolen memories. So Gablin, Emily, and Trellis get in the submarine and head down to the Cortex. Meanwhile, General Pill, Naven, and Allie make their way to a city where they sell their mechs for like $2. They were hoping to get enough money to buy a flying ticket to Valcor, but it's not enough, so they decide to hitch a ride with a restaurant blimp. But there's a catch. They have to work for the restaurant in return for being given a ride. So Allie and Naven become servers, and Pill is recruited as a chef. Pill goes out into town to buy some ingredients for cooking, and gets spotted by some suspicious elves who are looking for them. Luckily, he manages to talk his way out of it, and heads back to the restaurant with the ingredients. Back on the blimp, customers are starting to flood in, and Naven is told to treat everyone as family by the big boss lady robot. So Naven starts serving customers and having social anxiety. Then the same elf lady who was looking for Naven earlier shows up and tells him he's in danger. They go to the back of the kitchen to talk in private, where she tells him she's been sent by Riva to find him and bring them all back to the Resistance. The only problem is that there's a couple of elf bounty hunters in the restaurant looking for Naven, Allie, and Pill as well. Just then, the bounty hunters break into the kitchen and the elf girl starts fighting them. But in the end, Susie the robot boss lady knocks out the bad guys with a fish. After that, they say their goodbyes to Susie and head off to make their way back to the Resistance and the Lucian people. Back at Elgo's island, Enzo and the rest of the crew are forced to leave the dock since the storm will destroy the lunar moth if they don't. So they fly away to get to high altitudes. They'll be back for Emily and Trellis though, so don't worry. In the submarine, Emily is sleeping and having a dream about her dad again. In the dream, her dad says that he has to go and reminds her that it's much easier to see where light is coming from in a dark room. Okay then. Her dad fades away into magic space dust, and then she sees giant ships flying towards her. When she wakes up, she asks Gablin what happened to the people on Algos Island. He tells them that a Stonekeeper killed them all, the same Stonekeeper that killed his family. He explains that the Stonekeeper was a young boy who lost control of his amulet and transformed into a giant Titan monster, just like Lugger in the second book. Gablin believes that his amulet chose him specifically since he was easy to control. He doesn't believe it was a coincidence that Emily and every other Stonekeeper happened to find their stones. It's all a part of a bigger plan.
So you believe we're headed down the same path? You think we'll become monsters? History teaches us that you will both lose this battle. You will lose because you are chosen for your weaknesses and not your strengths. The Voice has a plan for you, and they will execute it. The best you can do is try and stand in its way.
Then they make their way to the underwater ship, where Gablin has stashed all of the memory boxes that he's stolen. You see, he moved all of them here to keep them safe, since after failing to assassinate Emily, the Elf King would surely try to have him killed. So they all go into a little room where Gablin creates a portal that leads into the memory that Trellis lost long ago. But it seems that they're being followed by the shadows, so Gablin promises them to fight them off for as long as he can, as Emily and Trellis go into the memory. So they enter into the portal and see a young Trellis talking to his father, the Elf King. The king is disappointed in Trellis for not focusing on military training, as he has been instructed. Instead, Trellis has been more interested in reading about history with his uncle Virgil. Then we cut to later in the memory, where Trellis is with his uncle Virgil. Virgil reveals that he has discovered something truly terrible. In the library, he shows Trellis that a planet far from theirs has been stripped of all of their resources by an unknown fleet of spacecrafts. Inside these spacecrafts, there are over 20,000 parasite aliens, aka the Shadows. It turns out these alien ships are en route to Eladia and have already sent a recon team to the planet that have infected the Elf King. Just then, the Elf King arrives at the library, beats up Trellis, and takes Uncle Virgil away for showing Trellis the truth. Afterwards, he introduces Trellis to Serbian, the Shadow, which later infects him so Trellis's acts in the first book can take place. After that, Trellis has seen enough, so they leave through an orange portal that appeared in the memory. Meanwhile, in the real world, the Shadows are attacking the ship by controlling giant striker fish and poking holes into the ceiling, letting water flood in. Gablin tries to find where in the memory Emily and Trellis are so he can get them out, but his computer shows that they're in an unknown location outside of the memory. Back to Emily and Trellis, they're walking through a maze where they find 3 portals, one of which Emily sees her father walk into. So she follows him in as Trellis tries to stop her. Okay, now this part of the book gets really interesting, and I think just summarizing it won't do it justice. So I'ma just read it out, so enjoy.
Where are we? I think we're inside a house. Is that someone you know? No, I've never seen him before. He's leaving. Should we follow him? Huh? Looks like we don't have much of a choice. My head hurts. Wait, we're on Earth? Is this your memory? Why are we on Earth? This isn't my memory. I think we're inside of his. Should we follow him inside? Yeah, let's go. Whoa, this magazine's from several years ago. I wonder how long I've been away from Earth. Check. Excuse me, you say something? He says it's your move now. Trellis, he's leaving. Hey! Wait! If we're not with the person whose memory this is, what happens then? Well, I guess we're about to find out. Wait, Emily, look. I think the void space is moving with him. Run! It's moving too fast! We're back in the car. Guess we can't leave his side. I mean, it's his memory. I guess we go where he goes. But why him? Wait. He's crying. Something's wrong. Put your seatbelt on. What's a seatbelt? Just pull this across your chest. Wait, I know where we are. This is where I grew up. This is where I lived. Your home? When I was younger. Before we moved to Silas's house. Are you certain? Yes, I'll never forget this town. This memory is a trap, Emily. It was supposed to be my memory alone. But they set this up for you. I can handle whatever comes our way, Trellis. What? What is he doing? We're gonna crash. Hold on! You okay? Yeah. Let's just find our way out of this nightmare.
I can't do anything right.
He tried to drive off the cliff. He did it on purpose. He's gonna cause another wreck.
Nobody's stopping for me. Nobody cares.
David, look out! Why are you just standing there? Go help them! Help them! Hey! Don't you run away! This is your fault! Emily! Emily, wait! Emily! Give me your hand. Emily. Dad! Dad! Emily. Thank you. You saved my life. Did you see who caused the accident? Yeah. He ran in that direction. He probably hasn't gotten very far. Let's go find him. Emily! What are you doing? If you aren't gonna help, then leave me alone. You're getting too involved. We need to stay focused on getting out of here. Leave us alone. Come on, Emily. Emily! Wait! Go wake me up. I'll do my best.
Leave me alone. I can't take this anymore. You've been in my head for too long. I did everything you asked me to do. Please, just go away.
Everything I asked?
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking about him.
Don't listen to him, Emily. He's lost his mind.
No.
There's only one way to make everything right. Make him pay for what he did to our family. Make him suffer for the grief he has caused us. For the grief he has caused you. Emily! He took so much away from us. He hurt our family. He must pay. Emily, no! Make him pay. Make him pay! No. I can't stop it. Trellis, go find my family and bring me back. Emily! You may leave now.
Thank you.
Who are you? The question you should really be asking is, what am I? I'm a servant of the shadows, and so are you. No, I serve the elves as their true king. How will you serve them if they believe you are dead? The future king found dead, alone at the bottom of the ocean. When they found him, they uncovered a mystery. Legend has it, he was burned to a crisp.
Emily, no.
Now how could that be?
Emily, stop! You saved Lugger and me from this curse. It could be reversed. But you need to show me how. I don't know how to help you. The exit. Close the portal, now! Wait, don't shoot! It's Emily!
That is not Emily. Not anymore. Quickly underwater, now!
The water's really moving in now. The sub's gonna be flooded.
You're right. We won't be able to get the sub to work.
Wait, I can use my stone powers to help us. I can make a bubble shield. We won't have much air, but we'll have a chance to survive.
No! I won't let stone magic save my life.
You're a fool! You can survive this! I will need your help!
Here, take this. You may need it later. I need to make sure the other memories don't leave this place. Don't worry about me.
I'll find a way to get out of here. Now go!
I hope you made it out, Brother Elf. What is it, Dango? Do you see them?
Vigo, what is that?
We need to double our efforts to locate Trellis.
Trellis? What about Emily?
Emily is gone.
So yeah, things are not looking good. Emily has lost control of her amulet, and has become the monster that Gablin was warning them about. But as for Naven and Allie, they have made their way to where the Resistance base is. They also meet back up with Naven's mom, as well as Leon and Miskit. But oh, it seems that the actual base is located above the planet's atmosphere. So they all climb into a big spaceship and blast off. And that's the end. We're left with Emily under the control of the voice, and Trellis feeling responsible for what happened. It's all pretty crazy, and I was not expecting Emily to turn into a giant fire phoenix. But yeah, that's it. If you like this video, consider subscribing to motivate me to make more. And I'll see you in the next Amulet video, where we'll be wrapping up this story for good. Alrighty then, bye bye!